What is going on, you guys? To the new subscribers, welcome in. Usual suspects, welcome back. We just got off of our wonderful 10-day break, and man, that was some fun. We had birthday parties out the wazoo, man, and I had to do some cooking. Let's see, I smoked a Wagyu brisket, I smoked beef ribs, I smoked pork ribs, I smoked a pork butt, I smoked queso, I smoked salsa, I smoked the potatoes for potato salad. I basically started cooking on a Friday afternoon and didn't stop till Saturday afternoon. I think I got like 3 hours of sleep. But as you can tell, I told y'all we got to get back on the road and get back to making money. And the title and the thumbnail are both very true. They're just not connected. So I'm going to tell you about the loads we've done this week because, as with me, it's always interesting, and power only is, well, it's power only. And then it is definitely time to make some changes because we've now had our 2-year mark on authority, so we're going to talk about some changes that we made. Apparently we're getting buzzed by a drone. So we left out of the house and needed to find a load, and I've told you all this numerous times. Dallas is not the mecca of power only freight, so you're typically going to have to go somewhere. But I wasn't finding anything. And I started looking on Thursday before. I'm looking on Friday. I cannot find anything. And I said, so what I do is when I can't find the big long load or even a mediocre load, I look for short loads that I can piece together. And I found a load going out of Dallas to Oklahoma City. We'll discuss that one. And I found Oklahoma, literally out of Oklahoma City up to Kansas. So you're talking like $1,150 for 500 miles. But it was going to be 2 trips, but I could knock it out in one day, basically, because the first load picked up in Dallas, or Fort Worth, which is about 25 miles from my house. And all it said on the rate description was that it was a chassis. Now, I don't know about you, but when I hear chassis, I think of, like, for rail ports or ships, the container chassis. So when it said chassis, I didn't ask any questions. But there was a note in the description, and it said you cannot use your engine brake. And y'all will see where this is going. Maybe you guys know, I don't. But I was like, okay, I can't use my engine brake, but it's a chassis. It's paying $650 to go 200 miles. Call up the broker. He goes, yeah, no, it's available. Loads out of Fort Worth, delivers to Oklahoma City, 200 miles, same day, $650. It's a chassis. Anything you got any questions on? So yes, it says I can't use my engine brake. Yes, you cannot use your engine brake. I was like, I use my engine brake hauling empty trailers all the time. I don't know why I can't use my engine brake, but there's one thing I like more than using my brake, and that's called customers. So I was like, okay, the customer says no engine brake. It's a chassis, 200 miles, whatever. Yeah, I just want the load because I can piece these together and make a decent run out of it. He goes, cool, book the load. Spent the weekend. Didn't think anything of it. Get up Monday, roll over Fort Worth, and I'd seen from the aerial images this real tight place, but you could kind of see some chassis laying around. So I parked it on the street and walked in and checked in with the guy. He goes, oh yeah, you got the chassis going to Oklahoma City. He goes, I'll get the forklift and pull it out because you can't get it out of our yard with a truck hooked to it. I'm like, man, what kind of chassis is this? And he rolls this thing out. And this is the biggest chassis I have ever seen. And I'll throw pictures of it probably while I'm talking. And we're talking 4 axles, 1-inch plate steel gussets, 53-foot long, massive chassis. I go, what in the world? He goes, yeah, they mount machinery, they mount equipment, they mount buildings that it's going to. And so I was taking it from the manufacturer of the chassis to the place that's going to put the stuff on the chassis. I was like, okay, that's weird. So this was not some little chassis like I thought I was getting, but it looked cool as hell dragging it down the road. But again, you think nothing of it. 200 miles, get up to Oklahoma City, drop the thing off, and as I pull into the parking lot, I say, hey, I call the guy, I'm here. He comes out, he walks straight to the back of the trailer, doesn't say hello or nothing. Goes, you didn't use your engine brake, did you? I was like, no, I did not use my engine brake. I said, sir, can you tell me what the deal is with this engine brake? He goes, better yet, I'll show you. So we had to drive around the building, park it, I backed it in, and have you ever backed in a 53-foot long 4-axle chassis? For a guy who doesn't back, I was pretty impressed with myself. I was trying to take pictures and stuff, but the guy was like, no, I explained to him what I do. He's like, no, we don't want pictures, someone might see customer name, no. But I parked the trailer. He goes, all right, see that one next to it? Now the one next to it, the one I had 8 super singles. The one that's parked next to it had 16 because it was duals. Same setup though. He goes, yeah, 16 brand new tires. Well, it's a brand new trailer. I would assume it's going to have brand new tires. And I guess he could see the puzzled look on my face. He goes, yeah, you don't understand. These things carry 60, 80, 90, 100,000 pounds. He goes, they're permitted, you know, everywhere they go, depends on what they mount on them. He goes, and the guy before you, it has like your personal vehicle, I guess, where the brakes for those 4 axles, because they're such heavy loads, are wired in with the engine brake with your 7-pin. And apparently this dude drug the trailer from Dallas to Oklahoma City, didn't pay attention, and was constantly locking up the tires. And he said when he got there, that carrier had to buy 16 brand new tires because he had flat spotted all 16 tires. So I was like, oh, glad I didn't use my engine brake. What I didn't tell you was on the way to get this load, the broker called and said, your load canceled.
You just got jammed.
So now I'm in Oklahoma City. I don't have a load. I emailed the broker for a load. He goes, yep, let me get with the customer. Customers decided the load's not going to go till the next week. Look at the load. I can't get there. I was like, well, I'm going to be stuck in Oklahoma City. And I'm just about to kick my feet up. And the broker that canceled the load calls me. He goes, hey, you've done stacked chassis or stacked trailers for us before. I'm like, yes, I have. It's kind of becoming my forte because they pay good and they're not that hard. I've gotten real good at strapping them. He goes, so here's the situation. He goes, guy picked up a load of trailers out of Kansas, was on his way down to South Texas, and first he said he didn't have the right, so his securement wasn't right, and then he wasn't comfortable, and he basically dropped the trailers off and drove away. He goes, we got to get those trailers from Kansas down to South Texas. Now, South Texas is also the mecca of Nowheresville reloads, but he was 800 miles. He said he was at 1,600. I said I could do it for $2,000. And he was like, you know, no, the other guy had already agreed to 1,600. And I'm like, you already canceled load on me. So we barter negotiated and we settled right in the middle at $2,000. So I rolled up there. I hooked up to him, strapped him, and I stopped at Timkawa, the pilot right there with the Taco Bell. Went to sleep, got up, hauled butt, and delivered them down to Robstown. Remember on the last video where I showed you the mud flap that I had kerfluffled? Well, I bobtailed, and when I went to pick up those trailers, I got to the trailers, and the mud flap on the other side was just gone. It had snapped the bracket. So I got down to Robstown, and shout out to the place that I dropped it off, because they happen to sell new trailers. They also sell trucks. I was like, you wouldn't happen to have a mud flap bracket, were you? You know, I couldn't really stop, and I was driving at night. He goes, actually, yeah. And I was like, I'll buy it. He goes, no, we'll give it to you. So they gave me a bracket, and they gave me a mud flap with their company name, which is on my truck right now because I've been running so hard. But I got there, and I was like, all right, I got to get to sleep because I had already booked a load. And as you saw from the thumbnail, we're going back to Prime. But we're just taking them a brand new trailer. Now, normally their trailers have like, if it's like a 2025, it's 2.5 and like a 4-digit number. These are U trailers. I don't know what that means. I will also say, because I was just having a conversation with a guy and he was like, well, I can't believe Prime's hiring outside vendors to do this. I told him, dude, there were 20-something Prime trailers there. There were probably 75 Stevens trailers down in South Texas at the manufacturer. I was like, I am sure. Said, by the way, I'll tell you, it was Eagle Pass, which is literally in the middle of nowhere. So I said, it's probably cheaper to pay me if I'm in the area or pay a power-only guy in the area than to deadhead 5. I think it's like 5.5 hours from Laredo and Bobtail. I'm sure Prime guys are probably pulling it. I'm not trying to, somebody gave me the impression that they thought I was trying to insult Prime by talking about it. But I will tell you that the CB chatter and the looks on the other drivers' faces when a Prime trailer passes them at 75 miles an hour is priceless. Somebody's going to tell my fleet manager that I ungoverned my truck. I got asked if I stole that trailer because Prime trailers weren't meant to go that fast. The whole thing was not a slam on Prime. I thought it was kind of funny, and it made sense why I did it, because to deadhead a Prime driver there, especially a lease operator or even a company, as many trailers they got, I'm sure they got to do something. I'm really not making a lot of money on it, but it's putting me in a way better reload than South Texas. So we have got a load, drop this tomorrow, Friday, in Springfield, and then we are picking up a load. I could pick it up Friday and deliver it Saturday. It's a brand new trailer going from DC, but it's 24/7 pickup, 24/7 drop. So I'm actually going to drop this in Springfield, drive about 100 miles. It's 156 miles. So I'll go 100, 125 miles, and I'll stop and sleep. And I'll get up Saturday and do that in a one shot. And then I will take a 34 because we've already got a Monday load booked. But that's for another video. The title of the video that it was some of y'all tuned in for, my usual suspects were probably the only ones that are still here, is we're making some changes to the business because we're hitting the 2-year mark. For the love of all things holy, I have 6 more days with Progressive. I lost another load while I was home to an awesome, brokers have pay scales, and these people were quick payers according to the factoring company, and they don't accept Progressive insurance. And then I got my renewal from Progressive, and for no reason, my loss runs, which is the damages, is 0. It's a clean piece of paper. I had to get that for people. All my numbers are good. They raised my rate $7,000 a year. So you're going to charge me more, and I don't want to be with you in the first place. So the first change is we're going to be having a new insurance company. I'm pretty sure I know who it is. I'm signing the quote on Tuesday. I'm still waiting on one more to come back, so we'll talk about that in an upcoming video. But I also mentioned factoring company. And I didn't realize it, and factoring is a separate video, but I will say I thought, I don't know how to read apparently, that I was signing a 12-month contract with the company I factor with. Turns out it was an 18-month contract, and it auto-renews unless I cancel it. And I've been approached by another factoring company that I have no problems with the company I'm with. I just like this new one that they've offered me some things that fix a little bit of the quirks. Again, coming up from another video. So we're getting ready to switch factoring companies, which means we will also be switching fuel cards, because for the second time in a year, my Pilot Flying J account has been hacked. The first time they just stole my fuel card, and my the fuel card company caught it. They didn't let them charge anything. This time somebody hacked my account, went in and changed my email. And I'm not going to trash Pilot Flying J, but I called and said, hey, something wrong with my app. And Jay says, what's your email? And I said, here's my email. And she goes, that's not your email. Your email is a Gmail account. I can't tell you what it is. Well, I'm an old fuddy-duddy. I use Hotmail for all this junk that I sign up for. I was like, that doesn't seem right. She goes, well, that's what it is. You got to figure out the right email. I called back, and turns out, yes, somebody came in and changed my email and hacked. I guess they wanted my points and they wanted my shower power. I think they probably just wanted access to my fuel cards again. So the new factoring company that I'm going to uses Loves, not Pilot. So we will be switching factoring companies, fuel companies, insurance companies. And I sat down, and I mean, this video is getting way too long, but this is the really most important thing. I had a business plan when I started this business. The problem is we're about 2 years ahead of schedule. And so I had a business plan to getting it started, and I had a business idea for the future. Well, on my 10 days off, we sat down and we formed the business plan for the next 3 years. Now, goals you got to have, plans are important. It's adjustable, but it changes your focus. Again, future video, we're working on some things that are very laser focused for this company now. I mean, y'all cannot wait to share some of those things. I want to cut this video down, but we've made a lot of changes. We've had a lot of experiences. We have a lot of video ideas. One of the things that I'm changing in my business plan is I actually have a list of videos with timelines so I can make content. I'm exhausted. I've had probably, well, according to the DOT, I've had plenty of rest in the last 2 days. I'll tell you, it's been a struggle. So I'm actually going to get some rest and post to get this video ready. But I'll just want to tell you guys, we got a lot of stuff on the horizon. I'm happy to be back on the road. I'm happy to be making some money. Got a lot of stuff to tell you, and I can't wait. We'll talk to you soon. God bless. Let's get rolling.